Yeah, it's your stepson back at it again with another one. Y'all feel me, dog? Y'all feel me? If you feel me, dog, if you feel me, keep it gangster, dog. Keep it gangster. You feel me, sons? Stream starting soon. Stream starting soon. Hold on, hold on. I gotta post this. Keep it gangster, dog. Keep it gangster. What the fuck? Who eat chicken from the back? What the heck? Somebody need to evaluate that person. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain. What the fuck are they talking about, bro? What you mean I ain't receiving enough shit? What are you talking about, baby? What do you mean you ain't got enough shit? Ain't getting enough, baby. What? We gotta connect this to that.
Bluetooth connected.
Bluetooth connected. Teleon. All right, we in this bitch. Shouts out to who hops in here. We are about to embark on reaction videos. Let's get it, Bobby.
Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform. Describe what you want.
Yet, life has adapted to almost every other. No fish have ever been found in the deepest 25% of the ocean. But not because we aren't looking. Life might just be biologically impossible down there. Yet, life has adapted to almost every other part of the hostile deep sea, like the zombie worm who feasts on the dead, or the gigantic Antarctic sea spider, mysteriously 500 times larger than any other species in its family.
500 times
in this video, we're journeying into the wondrous realms of the marine world to see how life overcame 4 big challenges to survival in the depths. What bizarre adaptations let life survive where it shouldn't? And why aren't there any fish at the bottom of the Mariana Trench?
Chat, there is fish. We just don't know where the fuck they're at because niggas can't get that far down because if we do it, then we'll explode. Like, no cap.
Every living
Big
thing
one.
needs to eat, but the problem is, the deeper you go, the less food you encounter. Creatures down here have two choices: eat less or get creative.
Get
like
creative.
The Cuvier's beaked whale. This fellow embarks on the longest and deepest dive of any mammal just to catch its favorite meal. Gulping as much air as possible into its lungs, the whale leaves behind water.
Yo, that's the only,
shallows.
like, that one and the
Like a
fuck one
torpedo,
is like
it
essential.
plunges down a gradient.
Everything else is
the
like
water cooling as it shoots
like
down
willy-nilly and shit.
2,900 meters.
It sounds good.
This far down, the sea is pitch black. So instead of relying on sight to find its prey, the whale uses echolocation. By emitting high-frequency clicks, it creates an acoustic map of its surroundings. This is bad news for the squid.
That's what that nigga
to
doing.
hide,
That
its
nigga,
cover is blown.
that nigga throwing out
The
flea
whale
blast.
zeroes in on its prey. It swiftly opens its beak, revealing a toothless mouth.
What the
This
fuck?
sudden movement creates negative pressure in the water, which sucks the
Pause. That shit out here giving guac guac 3000, bro. What the fuck? Oh my god. Damn. That shit out here sucking on shit. Talking about yo. Hey, no cap though. It sounds good.
suspecting squid down in one clean motion. Yet, little does this whale know, it too will become food later on, supporting an entire ecosystem deep in the abyssal plain over 4,000 meters
You
down.
niggas be eating the carcasses, bruh.
But up here, at 2,900 meters, what if you're a smaller creature without such large jaws or predatory power? Where do you get your food in this scarce environment? Well,
Arby's.
deep-sea ecosystems rely on three
the
main
only
energy
answer.
sources to thrive. The first is constantly drifting through the ocean depths, marine snow. Flakes made mainly of organic material, dead animals, phytoplankton, and protists, with some sand and inorganic dust mixed in. Marine snow is one of the most important food sources for deep-sea creatures.
Yo, it fucking sucks being an animal. Like, did you just hear that, bro? These niggas out here gotta live off of flakes, nigga. Like, flakes and fucking goddamn, hope to God it's dead shit, algae, or fucking just some type of organic life that they can just eat off of, bro. That's fucking crazy.
As it redistributes carbon from the sunlit surface waters to the deep ocean. So, how does this snow get all the way down here? Most marine snow originates close to the surface, where abundant sunlight supports a huge diversity of zooplankton and photosynthetic organisms. All this biological activity creates organic byproducts, aka waste from the life above, which starts drifting down the water column. Organisms along the whole column feed on it, and some have developed some rather interesting.
Nigga just said they just survive off of poop flakes, bro. What the fuck? Poop flakes, nigga? Niggas in that shit talking about delicious. What is that? Like leftover poop?
Interesting adaptations to do so. 3,000 meters below the surface, a devilish-looking creature patrols the depths. This is the vampire squid.
Oh, I heard about these.
See the long
These things
filaments
got
between
like
its arms?
spines and shit.
They're covered in a sticky mucus, perfect for capturing falling flakes. It holds its filaments out, patiently waiting for the snow to coat them. Satisfied, it covers its catch in more mucus, forming the mix into a ball before
What the
consuming
fuck?
it whole.
That nigga eating
Though
snot.
it seems simple, this specialized technique is so effective, the vampire squid can survive off marine snow alone.
That nigga surviving off of shit.
Now, the vampire squid is a highly specialized deep
being an
sea
animal
species,
is crazy.
but on the surface, us humans are more of a multitasking type. You're probably doing something else on your screen or phone while you listen to my voice, and though I don't personally take offense, I'm sad you're missing out on the incredible visuals of our deep sea world our editors work so hard
I'm doing
to find,
both. Like I'm
which is
looking
exactly why
I'm
we
ordering
partnered
food, my
with
nigga.
Opera Browser on this video. With Opera, you can automatically split your screen. You can use Opera's video pop squids, the documentary creatures that rely on it for energy.
You thought you got us, nigga. Fuck out of here, boy.
Meters further down, a group of larvaceans are taking a different
I'm
approach.
feeling chicken pot pie right now.
These tiny tadpole-shaped creatures also use mucus, but instead shape it into an elaborate food filter. Also known as a house, this concentrates very small particles, some as small as bacteria, while excluding larger flakes which the animal can't consume. Eventually, the houses clog and are discarded, themselves becoming part of the marine snow, continuing further into the depths below. Not all marine snow is intercepted on its way down. About 815 million tons of it settles on the ocean floor every year. This may sound like a lot, but it only translates to an average of 2 grams of carbon per square meter.
I mean, like, but don't the crustacean things like be eating that shit too?
So, what to do? What's the way out of this catch-22? Luckily, the gummy squirrel has adapted an ingenious solution.
What is that? That shit got a dick on it.
Over 5,000 meters down, this vibrant yellow sea cucumber crawls across the abyssal mud on tube feet. Carefully, it sifts the seafloor sand through its 18 specialized feeding palps, extracting the freshest marine snow detritus and discarding the rest.
Shit too, bro.
When supplies start to run thin, it doesn't keep trudging along. Instead, it waits until a current comes along and deploys its alternative mode of transport. Extending its tail like a sail, it captures the ocean's current and propels itself to the next feeding patch.
This nigga's a flying dick in the ocean, bro. That is crazy.
Marine snow is not the only source of energy in the deep sea. At school, we're all taught that sunlight is the basis for every ecosystem. Plants use it to photosynthesize, turning light into organic matter that feeds the entire food chain. But in the deep sea, there's no light to speak of, no photosynthesis. Instead, these alien ecosystems are kick-started by something else entirely.
I don't know what the fuck just happened just now.
About 4,100 meters down, along the mid-Atlantic ridge, you stumble upon one of the deepest known hydrothermal vents in the world, the Ashadzi 1. These collections of chimney-like structures spew superheated, mineral-rich water from within the Earth's crust at 300 degrees Celsius. The pressure here is so intense, the water doesn't boil. Instead, it erupts in dark smoke.
My thing is, okay, y'all, if it gets colder when you go all the way down, you feel me, right? Like, why the fuck does it, like we do have, subterranean, volcanoes and shit, just like how the dude just said right there. But, that's not all through the Mariana Trench. So, what's really at the center of the Earth, bro? We haven't even touched, we haven't even, have devices to even go all the way down to the core, bro. What the fuck? How do we even know that bitch is hot or magma and shit, bro? We don't know shit, bro. Motherfuckers is capping about that part, bro. I don't know where the fuck volcanoes come from, but it's not no fucking magma from the center of the planet, bro. It is not that, bro. Hell nah. Because why the fuck is the soil cold as shit when you go all the way down, bro? It don't get warmer, bro. You'll be burning up if it's like that, bro. What the fuck? That don't make sense.
Smoky plumes when it hits the cold seawater. Yet despite being so hostile, hydrothermal vents across the deep ocean are home to diverse communities of life, including sea anemones, shrimp, crabs, mussels, clams, and in some regions, iconic giant tube worms. Hydrothermal vent communities can sustain over 300 species, making them some of the most biodiverse deep sea environments in the world. And at the bottom of this food chain, sustaining it all, are mineral-eating bacteria. These guys don't need sunlight. Instead, they harvest energy from the chemicals belching out of the vents, mainly hydrogen sulfide, methane, and ammonia. Normally, these compounds are quite toxic, but these bacteria use them to create energy. This energy, along with carbon dioxide,
since they can't
gas dissolved in
photosynthesize
the water, creates organic molecules like glucose. This process is known as chemosynthesis. You can think of it like the dark twin of photosynthesis, producing the same result, just with different fuel. Generally, these chemosynthetic bacteria form thick mats around the vents. The whole food chain is based on them. Some live symbiotically inside the tissues of giant tube worms, feeding their hosts from within.
Imagine getting like high and then like,
These
we should get,
embed themselves
I'm gonna get
in
high as fuck right now, and we gonna watch an
withstanding high
episode of
temperatures
Animal Planet, bro.
without breaking a sweat.
Like, yeah.
Perhaps the most extreme example is the Pompeii worm. The tail end of its tube can brave temperatures of up to 105 degrees Celsius, while its head pokes out the other end into cooler waters. Its secret lies on its back, a fleece-like layer of bacteria that redistributes the heat, keeping the worm cool. To say thanks, the worm secretes mucus for the bacteria, making sure they stay fed. As a bonus, the worm's oversized gills and unusually cool blood help it capture and bind as much oxygen as possible in the vent's oxygen-starved waters. It feeds primarily on chemosynthetic bacteria and is one of the most heat-resistant animals we know of.
Synthetic.
But chemosynthetic bacteria are not just confined to hydrothermal vents.
Big man's word.
They also arise in cold seeps, spots on the ocean floor where gas and petroleum slowly leak through the cracks in Earth's tectonic plates. Since this happens at a slower, more dependable rate than outgassing from hydrothermal vents, ecosystems around cold seeps tend to be more stable and longer-lived. And like forests on land, you can tell how mature a cold seep ecosystem is based on which creatures dominate it. Chemosynthetic bacteria colonize first. They use methane coming out of the seep to produce energy, which they pass on to symbiotic partners like mussels to feed. As the bacteria oxidize methane, this produces calcium carbonate, which is deposited on the seabed as hard rock. Over decades, this attracts tube worms, which attach themselves to these rocky layers. A single tube worm bush can contain hundreds of individuals growing over a meter tall, all hosting colonies of chemosynthetic bacteria to help them survive. Some species, like Lamellibrachia lumesi, live over 250 years in these conditions.
Yeah, that should get me.
In both cold seeps and hydrothermal vents, chemosynthesis makes astounding biodiversity possible. But there's a third and final energy source for deep-sea creatures, not geothermal vents or marine snails. Something much larger. A majestic creature whose literal backbone will soon feed an army of creatures in the deep. After a long life spent roaming the oceans, this baleen whale is tired. Old age has weakened its heart, which finally gives out. As its body goes limp, it's suspended for a moment. Then, slowly, it starts to sink. The descent takes hours, sometimes days, drifting down and down among the marine snow. The water around her is so dark and still, her arrival is the biggest event this region has seen in years. Finally, the enormous carcass lays to rest on the soft, muddy floor of the abyssal plain, a region of flat seabed stretching endlessly in every direction.
Oh my fuck!
At over 4,000 meters depth, the pressure is crushing. It's one of Earth's most barren environments, where life is sparse and nothing grows. Every scrap of organic matter down here is precious. So this fallen whale becomes a banquet that will nourish the area for decades.
Nigga said, ooh, dead nigga,
First
bro.
on the scene are the bloodhounds.
Finally.
Drawn in by their sharp sense of smell, creatures like the rat-tailed fish and
fuck
black
is that?
hagfish
Yo.
can detect the smell of rotting flesh from miles away. They gorge themselves on the feast, slowly stripping the whale's flesh over months. This frenzy scatters food across a wide range of sea floor,
Niggas
feeding
talking
nearby
about, yes,
anemones,
we finally
sea
got
stars,
lunch.
mollusks, and other crustaceans. Next comes the skeleton. Whalebone is mainly made of fats and contains about 200 times the amount of nutrients found in the sea floor.
Chad, I didn't even know that.
Opportunistic zombie worm has been
I
waiting
thought whale
for.
bones were just like normal bones. What zombie
Riding on
worms?
ocean
What the fuck is
currents,
that, bro?
The zombie
Cum?
worm larvae settle on the
What
exposed
the
bone
fuck?
and quickly get to work. The females undergo a radical transformation, developing into mature tube worms. One end develops into a fan-like shape designed to capture oxygen from the surrounding water. The other end grows into a root system which burrows deep into the whale bone. But there's a problem.
What the
Zombie
fuck?
worms don't have a mouth, gut, or anus. So, how do they eat?
Yeah, what the hell?
The easiest and fastest way to capture
Yo,
your best
that's
gameplay
like that's
moments
just that's
is
a
with
whole
clips.
parasite thing, bro.
Just one click, drop.
Turns out their root system is packed with specialized cells that release acid. This acid is strong enough to demineralize the whalebone, exposing fats
These
and
niggas are
proteins which
xenomorphs.
were
What
previously
the
locked
fuck?
up inside the dense structure.
Yo,
To get these nutrients, the zombie worm calls on help from a friend, colonies of symbiotic bacteria who call these roots home. The bacteria extract the precious nutrients and convert them into
What the
compounds the
hell?
worm can absorb and use. It's a beautiful partnership that plays out in one of the most desolate parts of the ocean, turning a fallen whale carcass into on the sea floor at any one time.
fuck.
Studies suggest that whale falls like these not only serve as a much-needed deep-sea buffet, but might also be hotspots of evolution due to their highly specific conditions. To catch a meal in the deep, you need to be clever. Marine snow, chemosynthesis, and whale falls are all important sources of energy for deep-sea creatures which have adapted to take advantage of them. But food isn't the only challenge to survival kilometers below the surface. Temperatures in the abyss are always on the verge of freezing.
Yeah, my thing is though, bro. It's like, yeah, they said like these fish have like scarce bodies and shit. But why the more deep you go, the bigger they get, bro? It make that make sense, bro. It don't make sense. Like you talking about, oh, food is scarce down there. What the fuck is really going down in the Mariana Trench where everything down there is oddly shaped and big as shit, bro? Like abnormally fucking huge for no reason, bro. Like, I'll be damned if I fucking get swallowed by like some fucking fish that's like a plastic bag and shit, but it's big as fuck, bro. Like a big ass plastic bag with a big ass like mouth with sharp teeth. Like, what the fuck, nigga? And glowing lights. It's crazy.
But instead of balling up for warmth, evolution does the opposite. When it's cold out, bigger is better.
Oh, so the cold makes the body grow.
Most
Okay.
known species of
See?
sea
Told y'all,
spiders
it gets
are
cold as fuck down
measuring
there.
just a few millimeters across. But swirling in the depths of the Antarctic Ocean, where water temperatures can drop below zero, these spiders are over 500 times larger. And this isn't a fluke. It's a phenomenon known as polar gigantism. The coldest waters on Earth consistently produce the largest animals of their kind.
See? Told y'all, nigga.
Think colossal squid, giant isopods, and the Greenland shark. One of the largest known species of shark, the Greenland shark can grow up to 6.4 meters
That nigga
long.
look ugly, bro.
They're thought to live 250
I'll be
to
damned if I see
500
some shit
years,
like that come up to
making
my
them
boat.
the vertebrate with the longest lifespan. That means that there are sharks out there that have been patrolling the depths since before the invention of the telephone, the foundation of the USA, and the birth of Shakespeare. But why does this happen? Does being bigger somehow help you survive in the cold? Larger
Possibly.
animals have advantages. They can tackle bigger prey and travel further to find mates. But those benefits apply everywhere, not just
How are you
cold
gaining
waters.
this mass to
The
get to
answer
that? That's what I'm
lies in
telling
how
y'all.
temperature
Like, you
affects
have to get
biology
something to get
at
to
the
that mass,
cellular
bro.
level.
Like, look at us.
Frigid water
We have to keep
slows
eating to get
metabolism
fat, bro.
and
What are they eating
increases
down there
cell
that's making
size,
them, like, huge
which
as shit like
extends
that, bro?
lifespans and increases body size. But there's another factor at play. Polar waters hold exceptionally high levels of dissolved oxygen, and that abundance allows life to grow larger. A giant sea spider or colossal squid has more surface area across its gills, making it easier to extract the oxygen they need with every movement of water. But size isn't the only way to fight the cold. In the Southern Ocean around Antarctica roams the crocodile icefish, perhaps one of the strangest fish in our waters today. Look closely at its fascinating transparent body. It's the only vertebrate on Earth with clear blood coursing through its veins. Virtually every other animal relies on some form of blood cell to bind and carry oxygen around their body. But the icefish doesn't have blood cells or anything comparable to hemoglobin, the protein that allows the oxygen to be carried around the bloodstream on a cell like a kid buckled into a roller coaster. Instead, it relies on surface area and a little bit of physics. The icefish has evolved gills of extraordinary size, proportionally much larger than any temperate fish, and its skin is scaleless. This means both gills and skin act as oxygen-absorbing membranes, allowing dissolved oxygen from the water to diffuse directly into its bloodstream. The entire animal is basically one big breathing surface. But what happens when the water is so cold it risks freezing your blood? Some pockets of the Southern Ocean can reach minus 1.9 degrees Celsius. By all measures, at these temperatures, ice crystals should form in living tissue, rupturing cells and killing organisms instantly. And yet, life persists even here, where it seems impossible. 90% of the fish biomass in the coastal
those things
Antarctic
die,
Ocean
bro. Like
comes
if
from
y'all
a
seen this
single fish
thing,
family.
it's called like the lightning.
Managed to conquer
It's like the Arctic lightning.
when no
you
other
can
fish
see it.
could.
It's like one of the like
secret of their
ice like
success?
shards that like go all the way down
Antifreeze
to the bottom.
proteins in
It's
their
like
blood.
starts from the top to the bottom.
These
Once it hits the
molecules
bottom,
circulate
anything
throughout
it
their
touches legit freezes to
When
death.
they
You're
come into
dead.
contact with a budding ice crystal,
Immediate touch.
they bind to its surface, coating it in a protective layer.
Or anything passing.
This
that touches
prevents
it.
them from growing larger
Immediate
and
frozen.
piercing through tissues.
I don't know what it
Three
is, but it's
different
the
kinds of
equivalent to like
antifreeze
nitrogen and
proteins have
shit.
been found in polar fish, suggesting they evolved independently at least 4 times. And nature only tends to do that for very important traits. To survive the cold, abyssal creatures turn to gigantism, specialized breathing, and antifreeze proteins in their blood. But the cold is no match for what's coming next. Challenge number 3 takes us to one of the most extreme deep-sea environments around, where the water is so incredibly salty, just one wrong move will literally pickle you alive.
What the fuck?
Sprawled across the Mediterranean sea floor lies a strange, secret realm. Here, the waters are 3 to 8 times saltier than the rest of the ocean.
Bro, that's like Ghoul Lagoon.
This water is so much more dense, it doesn't mix with the surrounding sea, creating this otherworldly illusion, an
like Ghoul
underwater
Lagoon.
lake. These brine lakes are the result of water
this was
seeping into
SpongeBob was,
ancient
like
underground salt
talking about
deposits,
back then.
warping and cracking the salt plates until the salts
fuck niggas
leach
knew
back
about
into
this?
the ocean. But
put in
get
a
too
cartoon.
close, and it might be the last thing you do, as this eel is about to find out. Cutthroat eels are opportunistic hunters,
Cutthroat
serpentine
eels.
predators that can reach over a meter in length. At depths between 400 and 2,200 meters, they roam the sea floor using their keen sense of smell to detect prey in the darkness, small fish, crustaceans, and carrion. Today, their hunt draws them closer and closer to the edge of a nearby brine lake. Its mineral-rich walls are studded by a dense mussel bed, sustained by chemosynthetic bacteria. It's a similar sight to the ecosystems around hydrothermal vents and cold seeps, with one key difference. Strewn across the brine lake itself are dozens of perfectly preserved corpses, decades, maybe even centuries, of casualties pickled by the hypersaline water.
That's
For them,
fucking crazy.
it's a graveyard. For our eel, it's a feast. Ambitiously, it plunges into the brine, crossing the invisible boundary between abundance and a dance
So
with
only
death.
eels could do this.
The consequences are immediate. It tries to breathe, but there is no oxygen in this underwater lake. As the eel struggles, something else grabs hold of its slippery body. The extreme salinity triggers a toxic shock, destabilizing the eel's nervous system and drawing water out of its cells at an alarming rate. Within moments, the eel loses muscular control, writhing and convulsing, twisting itself into desperate knots. On a cellular level, exposure to too much salt can destabilize proteins and prevent enzymes from functioning properly.
That's crazy.
Without these proteins, vital life functions like digesting food, normal developmental growth, and reproduction begin to shut down. At the same time, high doses of methane and hydrogen sulfide are entering the eel's system. If it remains submerged too long, these toxins attack tissues and disrupt cellular function, compounding the damage of dehydration.
Damn. It's either get that meal or fucking die, bro.
In Final Fantasy XIV Online.
Its only hope now is to escape the salty brine before it joins the parade of corpses below. Luckily, it does, and lives to swim another day. Brine lakes are such hostile environments, almost every creature that falls in never comes back out. Except one. Meet the Gulf hagfish.
I mean,
An ancient survivor, this
nature,
jawless
bro.
scavenger has prowled the seafloor for over 300 million years. Eel-shaped and nearly blind, it too navigates the nearby mussel beds by touch and smell. And it's the only vertebrate we know of that can swim into and out of brine pools unharmed. Its superpower? Slime. When hagfish are under attack, their specialized glands spring into action, secreting close to a liter of slime in just a few seconds. The slime is made of two components: tightly controlled protein threads and tiny mucus-filled sacs. When the threads unravel, the sacs burst open, releasing sticky proteins. These proteins bind the threads together and trap massive amounts of water, forming a slime that expands up to 10,000 times its original volume in seconds. The slime is so thick it can clog the gills and mouths of predators. But it also might give the hagfish an unfair advantage around brine lakes. The slime coats the hagfish's body. Working like an insulator, it reduces water exchange between the fish and its surroundings, protecting it from the devastating effects of the super salty pools. In addition, the hagfish has an incredible anaerobic capacity, meaning it can tolerate oxygen-poor environments better than most. These two adaptations might be what allow the Gulf hagfish to dart in and out of brine pools unharmed. Death's underwater lakes are incredibly hostile, but they typically sit just 1,000 to 2,000 meters deep. Now, it's time to descend into the most desolate parts of our oceans.
Imagine if
plummeting past
fucking,
6,000 meters, we reach the Hadal Zone. Named after the Greek god of the underworld, this part of the ocean is home to the infamous Mariana Trench and the deepest point on Earth. Here, one challenge to life stands above the rest: the absolutely mind-boggling pressure.
Yeah, like they're underneath hella cold.
6,000 meters below the surface, we're 18 times deeper than the record for the deepest scuba dive. The pressure is 600 times greater than it is on land. If you ventured down here alone, your ribcage would cave in and every air-filled cavity in your body would implode.
Putting like 6 times gravity on you, bro.
Just when you think the conditions couldn't possibly get more extreme, you realize there's still 5 kilometers to go to the deepest point on Earth. We're just over halfway to the Challenger Deep. As the opening of the trench yawns before you, it exposes the immense crack in the Earth's crust, gaping and endless. This awesome structure is 170 to 180 million years old, the result of the subduction of the Pacific Plate under the Mariana Plate. It's some of the oldest and heaviest ocean crust, making it dense enough to sink as deeply as it does. At the very bottom, pressures are more than 1,000 times greater than the surface, Temperatures are constantly just above freezing, and there is no light for photosynthesis.
I can understand about pressure, like gas and shit.
We'll
but
venture down there in a
actual
moment.
fucking like steam.
But first, there are some quirky
Like, not
creatures to see
steam,
here,
lava and shit?
6,000
Fuck no,
meters
bro.
below the shore. Despite the brain-breaking conditions, the Hadal Zone is not empty. It's home to life that exists nowhere else on Earth. Gliding through the depths
Just think
of
about
the
it. When one of
Atlantic
those
and
land pools
Pacific
like
Oceans
open and shit,
is
right?
the big
You don't
fin
see
squid.
lava like come out of
This
that motherfucker.
nightmarish,
You just see like an
spider-looking
open
creature
ass fucking
is
like
actually
gas
quite rare to
in the
spot.
fucking ground,
So,
bro.
though we've seen
like,
them at
unless that thing's
6,000 meters,
near
their
like a
full
lava
range
pool,
is unknown.
which only happens
To survive
in
at
certain
these crushing
areas and
pressures,
shit,
the big fin
some
squid is made
reason,
of extremely soft,
then
gelatinous tissues.
It's not gonna fucking
It
like
lacks
bubble
a skeleton
up
or
into,
hard shell,
like,
which
you
could
know,
crack and
like
crumble
molten lava.
under pressure.
Because if that's the case,
Instead,
the core
it
is
has
like
an
right there.
internal
That means
structure
that every
called a
fucking like
gladius.
pressure
It's much lighter
that
and more
you
flexible
see
than bone,
should fucking
but still
come out with
serves
lava
to anchor
pools,
muscles
like,
into
bursting
place.
fucking
The squid
engulfing
also
the whole
lacks any
area right there.
gas-filled spaces like lungs or a bladder, which would implode down here. Instead, its body is mostly water made of loose, flexible tissue that allows it to deform slightly without damage. The Dumbo octopus takes a similar evolutionary approach. Drifting along at 7,000 meters depth, it's the deepest dwelling known octopus. Unlike its shallow water cousins, it doesn't have a strong beak or a complex web of heavy muscles. Its body is soft with much lower muscle density. And its
Oh,
weak
look at
beak
it.
means it opts to swallow prey whole instead of tearing it apart. Hobbling along the seabed, you spot another strange little creature. Named for its pale pink coloration, the sea pig feasts on marine snow that settles onto the vast plains below. But don't let its cute appearance fool you. This creature is a master of molecular adaptation.
What the fuck?
Extremely high pressure interferes with the normal structure and function of cells. It can cause proteins and enzymes to fold incorrectly and cell membranes to go rigid, reducing the cell's ability to carry out the chemical reactions necessary for life. Sea pig cells' membranes contain unusually high levels of unsaturated fats, which prevent them from becoming rigid, keeping the sea pig's cellular machinery running smoothly. But perhaps the most astonishing discovery of all is the humble snailfish. Filmed at a depth of 8,336 meters in the Izu Agasawara Trench near Japan, it's the deepest fish ever observed alive. Down here, where life shouldn't exist, evolution finds a way. How has the snailfish's body adapted to handle such immense pressure?
Cause nature, nigga.
The answer is a compound known as trimethylamine N-oxide, or TMAO for short.
AKA
TMAO
nature, nigga.
molecules wedge themselves into proteins and physically stop them from unfolding or collapsing under extreme pressure. The deeper a fish lives, the more TMAO it has. But this protection comes at a cost. The more TMAO a fish has, the saltier its insides become. And for deep-sea fish, this can spiral into a problem fast. For most fish, maintaining the right salt balance is critical. Shallow water fish keep their internal salt concentrations much lower than the surrounding seawater, typically about 1/3 the salinity. Because the fish is less salty than its surroundings, water constantly tries to leave its body through its skin and gills. The fish must drink seawater and actively pump out the excess salt through specialized cells to stay hydrated. It's an energy-intensive process, but it works. For deep-sea fish, it's a different story. The deeper they live, the more TMAO they produce. So, as depth increases, the fish gets less and less salty compared to the water around it, until eventually they reach equilibrium. But theoretically, if a fish continued even deeper, the salt gradient would start reversing. At that point, the fish would be saltier than the water around it. The water would begin moving into the fish rather than out of it. Instead of working to retain water, the fish would have to work to pump it out. But is that really such a big deal? After all, there is one group of fish who can do just that. Freshwater fish. Freshwater fish are saltier than their surroundings, so water flows into them through
And
osmosis.
that's why fish taste salty.
The gradient is relatively mild though, so the diffusion of water is slow and manageable. To pump out the excess water, freshwater fish produce large amounts of dilute urine while actively pumping precious salts back into their blood through specialized cells.
That's crazy.
But unfortunately, in the ocean's
That's why
hadal
fish
zone,
taste like that.
this solution doesn't work
I
for
didn't know
two
that.
reasons.
So if you
First,
eat fish from the
this
bottom,
is an incredibly demanding
it's gonna
strategy.
be a
Deep sea fish run on tight
gonna
energy
be bitter.
budgets and cannot afford the massive, continuous effort required to pump salts back into their bodies. And secondly, deep sea fish can't afford cavities like bladders in their design, so producing large amounts of urine is a no-go. Freshwater strategies work in rivers and lakes because the
they don't
environment
have
allows
bladders?
them.
What the fuck?
Deep sea fish surroundings play by different rules, which make pumping out excess water simply impossible. So, if deep sea fish cannot get saltier than the seawater around them, is there a physical limit to how deep fish can exist?
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
That's exactly what a team of researchers set out to prove by catching fish from various depths, including 5 extremely rare hadal snailfish from 7,000 meters in the Kermadec Trench. They measured TMAO levels and salt concentrations in the fish's muscles. As expected, the deeper the sample came from, the more TMAO they had in their system. But then the team took things a step further. When they extrapolated the data, something incredible emerged. It seems there is a biological limit for how deep fish can exist, and these researchers put it at about 8,200 meters below sea level. Remarkably, 8,200 meters is almost exactly where fish actually disappear. The deepest fish ever seen was caught just 136 meters below this theoretical limit. When you take into account the limitations of the study and error bars, it's an amazingly accurate prediction. No fish has ever been seen in the deepest 25% of the ocean, and now
300,000.
we have scientific reasoning to explain why. Despite all the incredible adaptations we've seen to life in the deep, zombie worms dissolving bones with acid, vampire squid feeding on falling marine snow, and hagfish shielding themselves from toxic shock with slime, the last 2.5 kilometers of the sea seem to pose too great of a challenge. The bottom reaches of the ocean lie below the invisible barrier fish just aren't designed to get past. But just because there's no fish doesn't mean there's no life. Amazingly, the combination of extremely high pressure, gradual accumulation of food along the trench axes, and the geographical isolation of hadal systems has created habitats with an extraordinarily high abundance of a few highly specialized organisms. In the final 500 meters of the Mariana Trench, microbes and single-celled organisms thrive. 10,600 meters down, researchers discovered a giant amoeba measuring 10 centimeters across called a xenophyrophore.
What the
Imagine
fuck?
a single-celled
Is that a
organism
waterfall?
as large as a grapefruit. Over 10,900 meters down, just a whisper from the Challenger Deep, 200 amphipods were recovered in just 3 hours, suggesting that the deepest point on Earth might not be as barren as we once imagined. In fact, amphipods seem to do particularly well below 8,000 meters, presumably because there are no fish to hunt them here. Or perhaps they have different molecules, alternatives to TMAO, that make them better adapted to the deepest seas than fish. Only further investigations will tell us for sure.
When business slowed, Hank asked Copilot in Excel how to help bring back the $1 slice.
Hellish
Sales, bro.
surprises. But
Hopefully
it's
it
also a
stores still
testament
up.
to
There
life's
is it.
resilience.
First
In
place I'm
every
checking when I
deep-sea
go to-
environment,
go over
from
there.
boiling
Go
hydrothermal
to-
vents to
straight-
toxic brine
straight down
lakes,
the block.
deserted abyssal
cells
plains,
up.
and the underworld of
Damn.
trenches, life found a way to adapt. Battling against sparse food and energy supplies, freezing temperatures, high salinity, and crushing pressures, it emerged victorious even when it seemed impossible. And yet, there seems to be a biological limit to just how far down certain creatures can exist. Below 8,200 meters, it seems the chemistry of survival becomes impossible for fish. The proteins that help them withstand the pressure make them too salty to regulate their own bodies, a bitter irony written into the laws of physics. Even in a world forbidden to fish, life goes on. The ocean's final frontier belongs to creatures we're only beginning to understand. They say there are plenty of fish in the sea, but below a certain point, they disappear entirely. On YouTube, there are plenty of AI documentaries riddled with inaccuracies, misinformation, and soulless narration. We launched this documentary series to fight back against this noise. Behind every Auralis video is a dedicated team of 14 brilliant storytellers passionate about the incredible natural world we all share. But for every $1 we spend on production, YouTube pays us back only 30 to 40 cents. As a human-first channel, our costs are much higher than a faceless AI page designed to game the algorithm. So now we need your help, or this series is in danger of disappearing too. For the cost of a cup of coffee, you can join our mission on Patreon by investing in quality scientific storytelling from real people. We need 500 of you to join as paying members to make this possible, so it's time for YouTube to pay attention and fix misinformation. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
That's the shit right there. That's that right there. Said we was gonna get high and like watch like Planet Earth, but I second that. Let's see.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the bottom of my heart. There will be minor or...
God damn, nigga.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new
There we go.
video. That feels so
Keep
weird to
forgetting
say
I got-
because I
I
have
got
been
the
out of the
keyboard set
country
up.
in Canada for the last month. Kind of weird to record, but I'm happy to be back. Before we start anything else, these are the movies we will be talking about today. And there will be minor or maybe even severe spoilers, so I suggest going and watching these and then coming back. And maybe, you know, I'll save you some time. These are the movies. If you want to click off and watch them, I don't know. There goes my audience retention, but who cares? I am so tired of shit taking up our time these days with so many ads. You probably got,
Oh yeah,
like,
and then we
3
gotta
ads
check
before
out
this video.
Manborg.
But as I said, there may be spoilers in this video, so keep that in mind when you continue forward. It's like a book club. It's the Zerk book club, except we watch horror movies and then we come back and we discuss them together. Also, if you enjoy the content, please subscribe and please comment your scariest horror movie in the comments below. All right, let's deep dive into this and let's get our spooky pants on.
I was like, yo, what the fuck?
So in order
like
to
a headache.
actually feel something
because,
recently with the horror movies
my
I've been
headphones was
watching,
on
I
one side
steered
too
clear
much.
away from any American films. I was knee deep, ankle deep inside of Asian horror movies this month. The first movie I decided to watch was Tale of Two Sisters. And in hopes of not offending anybody, this is the original Korean name here, but this Korean title actually translates to Rose Flower and Red Lotus, which I thought was really interesting and very fitting for this film. The synopsis of this film reads, and really quickly, if I pronounce the names wrong in the synopsis, just kiss me on the mouth, I don't know. After being institutionalized in a mental hospital, Korean teen Soo-mi reunites with her beloved sister, Soo-yeon, and they return to live at their country home. The girl's father has remarried, and the siblings are immediately resentful of his new wife. As Soo-mi and Soo-yeon try to resume their regular lives, strange events start occurring in this house, leading to surprising revelations and a shocking conclusion. Before I say anything about this film, I just really quickly want to mention the score. This movie's score, genuinely, maybe one of the best I've ever had the pleasure of listening to. The beautiful, almost Ghibli-inspired orchestral pieces were absolutely stunning, and I was genuinely not expecting to hear this level of music in this film at all.
I ain't gonna cap, that shit is kind of what they call it, melodic. Yeah, it's kind of like a melodic beat. That shit do go hard. If you like put like some real like tempo and shit behind that and like some 808s, hard track.
And when it came to the scares, the score really stepped in. The little creaks in the wood floors that characters were slowly stepping around, trying to quietly walk and see what was going on in this haunted house. It immensely added to the scares. I absolutely love the score. I even wrote here in my notes to emphasize how much I genuinely loved the sound design and music in this film. I wonder if there's a soundtrack, because holy shit, it is. I really, guys, it's amazing. And the cinematography is nothing to scoff at either. There are some truly artistic and beautiful shots in this film, and the cinematography tells a story on its own sometimes. Kind of wish I didn't start with this film because it made all the other ones literally look bad. Like, not that they're actually bad movies, they genuinely just did not look as good or even close or sound as good. I wish I maybe ended with this one or something. I know I said minor spoilers in this video, but I really think you should see how you feel about this movie yourself before I even talk about anything. So please, go watch this movie. It seems to be pretty polarizing online, which I honestly actually 100% understand. Some people say it's overcomplicated just to be overcomplicated. Some people say it makes absolutely no sense, that it was super confusing. And yeah, I understand that. I completely understand the criticism. And to talk about what we're all thinking here, yes, I did find this movie scary in particular scenes, but it was more of the after effect that really got to me with this one. Warning, this is a fuck-ass movie. It's weird and it's complicated, it's depressing and unrelenting. You'll feel weird, yucky, and maybe even confused about your own life after watching this film. It's kind of like when you see a movie in a movie theater 10 a.m. and you walk out and it's still morning and it's not nighttime, and you feel like your whole entire life perspective has changed. That's how I felt with this movie. As soon as I finished, dude, I was scrolling through tons of threads, watching tons of YouTube videos, seeing people's explanations and theories. And this is one of the main reasons I love horror as a genre. Even though people are ripping at each other's throats, telling them that their opinions are wrong, we're still coming together. And that's all that matters, right? Everyone's discussing and disagreeing and agreeing and changing their opinions based off what people are saying. It's just a good time. I love this stuff. But yeah, it's definitely not for everybody, and you actually may downright hate this film, but I found some pleasant enjoyment out of it. It's a haunted house movie that makes you question everything along the way, causing you to put things together and use your brain. And I feel some of you might get some enjoyment out of this because you guys don't ever use your brains. Like, I'm just kidding, all right, guys?
If it got subtitles,
Also,
I
it
can't
has
watch
an
that
American
shit, bro.
remake called The Uninvited. I remember seeing The Uninvited movie before this one, actually, when I was very young, around 10 years old.
The
And I
Uninvited was
realized it
like-
after watching this one and then looking it up and finding out there was a remake. And I remember seeing this one because it was rated PG-13 and they used the F word, and it blew my mind as a kid. They're not allowed to do that. If you've seen the American remake, tell me what you think of it in the comments. I just remember it being like a generic American remake horror movie. And also pay attention to the American remakes because there might be another one showing up very soon, as in literally the next. Okay, let's move on to the next movie.
Let me show you why I stopped paying for all my other sample libraries. This is Arcade by Output. This thing has
The next movie on this list is called The Eye. And let me get this out of the way right now. You're probably not going to like this one, but I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe it was because it was thundering and lightning and the mood was hitting, but I genuinely enjoyed this movie for what it was. And it surprisingly got under my skin. I don't know what hit me. I think it's because I've been away from horror for so long that my defenses are down, and I don't know, man. It's just some weird shit going on. But this is another Asian horror film, and the synopsis reads, after 18 years of blindness, 20-year-old violinist Wong Kar-mun, I'm so sorry, regains her vision when she undergoes a corneal transplant. She's overjoyed with the procedure, but Mun's elation dissipates when she begins experiencing ghostly encounters. Ooh. Desperate to discover why she now sees ghosts, Mun turns to a psychologist, Dr. Wah, who believes the
What
new
the
corneas are causing these ghosts. Mun turns to a psychologist, Dr. Wah, who believes the new cornea.
Oh, hell nah. You're fucking tripping. Nigga, I spent a hell of money on the surgery just to fucking see ghosts, bro. You fucking tripping, bro. Shit. Fucking wild, boy. Nigga, take these eyes out my fucking head, bro. Nigga. Oh my, hey. You can see now, bro.
Are causing the problems. I'm not going to read the rest of the synopsis because it low-key kind of gives it away. But all you have to know is that this lady, she could not see a damn thing. She was blind as a bat. Also, they used these contact lenses on her to make her look blind, and she just looked like, I don't even know. They were some crazy contacts. She gets a surgery, and she starts to see again slowly over time. Her vision is pretty blurry at first, and she starts noticing some things in the corner of the room. She thinks maybe it's a nurse, maybe, you know, it's just someone standing in the room. There's nothing weird to it. Eventually, we discover that these normal people that she's seeing are not Sally Rooney normal people. They are ghosts. They are ghouls. They are specters. Is that a word for them? And this leads to a very strange film that honestly is I'll just talk about it. So let's start with my notes here and go over the good. This film has very good scares, especially regarding its sound design. Let me show you a scare in particular that really got to me, and my friend who was barely even paying attention in Discord, he got freaked out by this.
係咪有事啊？
Yeah, watch this movie with the headphones on, crank your volume on the VLC media player to 150%, and you are not gonna enjoy a woman moaning in your... That's crazy. But this scare really got to me, and it kept me locked in, dude. I was ready for the next ones. I love when scares play with the audio, and instead of like jumping right in your face with a loud bang, it's like an actual noise that has some continuity with the scene. There's a reason for it. That was just a really good scare. It's a fairly straightforward horror film, so watching it right after The Tale of Two Sisters was genuinely pretty refreshing. I think the concept is pretty interesting, with the main character gaining sight only to start seeing creepy apparitions. And it really lends to the scares because, as you saw in the one that I showed you, her vision is blurry, so you can't really make out what you're seeing. I mean you can get like a figure, but a face, you can't make out a face exactly. You don't know the condition that this person is in. And there are some small Easter eggs in this film that genuinely scared me really bad. There was a part where she kind of starts to get used to seeing these ghosts, like it's something that she's had her whole entire life. And they've just become like, I don't know about family, but they've just become someone who's there. You see in the reflection of like the window of the train, there's just this face. And I didn't notice it at first, and I saw it out of the corner of my eye. And it just, I don't know why, dude. It just made my stomach churn. There's no attention to it. They never call back to it, or they never make notice of it in the movie. It's just there. It's just there for you to see. Wait, there's a sequel? Hold up. Breaking news. This just in. There is a sequel to this film, and I will definitely be adding it to my list. It looks like the reviews aren't horrible. Sorry, the ADHD kicked in. But yeah, some small things just really caught me off guard. I will say though that the scares did wear off pretty fast, but I was still interested in the story, and some of the ghosts were haunting to look at, like the guy in the elevator who was missing like a quarter or a half of his face. I wouldn't say it's a necessarily groundbreaking film or a must watch, but it did get me at points. This movie also had a straight up Final Destination scene, which I thought was crazy and definitely did not fit this movie at all, and that's where we start talking about the bad. This movie has probably the most harsh tonal shifts I have ever witnessed. One second it's a horror movie, the next it feels like this cheap K-drama, C-drama with the romance with the, I will say, handsome doctor. It's a good looking dude. I mean, how do you not fall in love with him? To prove my point, I'm going to show you 3 scenes, and you tell me if you feel like they're from the same movie to you.
That nigga said some fruity shit right there.
黃嘉敏小姐係我今日最後一位病人嚟嘅。
Yeah, I can't watch this movie.
你做咩坐咗我個位啊？
I think it's like the music in certain scenes or the editing. I feel like this movie just doesn't have like a personality. It doesn't have its own vision. Guys, some scenes just end and quickly cut to a new one, and the music sounds like it was straight up ripped out of royalty free library. And also the CGI can be very, very bad at points. Also, this movie looks very early 2000s, which in my opinion, I kind of love it. But some may say this movie looks really cheap. I think the story adds some unnecessary plot points sometimes, but it's short enough to the point where I don't see an issue. Come on, guys. Overall, you know, it's not a must watch, but if you're bored one night, maybe some of the scares will get to you, and you'll agree with me on this one. This one might be up in the air with you guys.
I can't watch that shit, bro.
I found it to be different.
Subtitles.
I found it to be kind of fun.
It needs subtitles.
And I'm just stepping my foot back into horror after being away for so long, and this was a good little refresher, a good little appetizer. All right, let's move on to the final movie on this list.
Well, then again, we could watch it on the other thing.
All right, so this next movie honestly wasn't even going to be on this list. I have no notes for this movie, so I might ramble a little bit. I might go off the beaten path, but we will be talking about Weapons. I'm probably going to make a whole entire video about this movie because of how much I actually loved it. So I'm not going to go super deep into it. I'm going to tell you the parts that scared me, the things that I enjoyed.
Weapons was a good movie.
Stuff. Now, I finally got around to watching this film. I'm literally recording
it
this
remind
maybe
me of how I
30
used to
minutes
run
after
back when I used to.
And I was watching
be a
it
kid.
for the love of the game. I wasn't watching it
Pretending
to
I
be
was like in
scared.
Naruto
I
and
actually
shit.
had another movie on my list to watch next called The Borderlands. Not that one, this one. So I just wanted to watch Weapons. I just wanted to finally check it out. And yeah, it's making the list. A completely unexpected turn of events, and I couldn't be happier. And I would like to say that I did really like Barbarian. So I was naturally pretty excited to see what this director does next. Watch it. I thought it was going to be like Sinister, how Raj Al Ghul, whatever that dude's name is, possesses kids, and I hated that. I hated the ending of Sinister and Sinister 2 altogether just because of that premise alone. I don't find children creepy. I don't find it as a scary plot point. And I really, honestly, like I said, I was not excited to see this movie basically at all. But oh my god, I love this movie. It might be one of my favorite horror movies I've seen in the last decade. We are honestly being fed so good. I love where horror is at right now. I'm so excited for the future. And we're just getting banger after banger recently. Now let's talk about the things that I loved about this film. This might be a little bit niche, but I love how this movie is lit. Not like frat boy lit, the way it looks, the lighting of the film. I noticed it when I saw Barbarian, how the lighting looked and how the scenes were shot with the lighting, and I loved it. And this movie does that exact same thing. I don't know why, it's something that stuck out to me as I was watching this film. I can't really point to an exact scene off the top of my head, but this movie altogether just looks absolutely fantastic. I was not expecting the different perspectives of people in this. I thought it was just going to follow like the main teacher the whole entire time, but no, we saw like 5 different perspectives, and I usually don't like that stuff. It is so well done here. It's not mundane, and it's not a chore to watch things that you already know are basically going to happen. I love the flipping through perspectives. It really enthralled me, and it kept me super engaged, and every single character has their own distinct story and their distinct personality, and I can't get enough of it. This world feels rich. It feels like actual human beings and their lives, and they all have different ones. It doesn't feel like one guy wrote all these different people. They just feel like people. Gladys in this movie is what makes this absolutely terrifying. I had no idea that there was going to be like a villain in this movie. I knew nothing about this movie going in. And when you first see her, that first jump scare during the dream sequence, oh my god, dude, I got full body chills. I think the scares in this film are really smart, and every single one of them got me. Some of them are jump scares, some of them are like creeping fears, like when the teacher was sitting outside the house that she was suspecting, you know, something weird is going on, and the lady came out with the scissors, and I was like, yeah, this is creepy, you know? And I just assumed she was gonna bash through the window with the scissors or something. Lady was cooked, bro. But the fact that she went around the car and then opened up the car door, dude, that freaked me out so bad. You don't even see it happening. It's all audio, and it freaked me out so bad. And she got in the car, and dude, that is master craft. That is, I love that. I love this movie. And also, not to mention, this movie is just really funny sometimes. I've seen some people say that it's more of a comedy than it is a horror, and I think, although those people are correct, I do think it finds the perfect balance. I can go on and on about this movie. The most annoying part to me, this movie kind of reminded me of Longlegs. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why. But the part about Longlegs that really kind of hampered its perfection in my eyes was the weird part in Longlegs where the mom was like information dumping and telling you quite literally down to the exact milligram detail exactly what is going on and what each character does. This movie, Weapons, did not do that, and I absolutely love that they didn't do that. How many times can I say absolutely love? I love that they didn't do that. I really enjoy when a director understands that his audience is not stupid and they will pick up on things, and it allows them to discuss afterwards. And although the story isn't super hard to follow, it just doesn't tell you everything. Whether it's like a small conversation with the parents saying, we haven't seen Gladys in like 15
when the old girl
years,
pushed her head
this lady
through the
is a
fucking
stranger. You know, it's just like small snippets of
like
information
door, bro,
instead
that
of
shit
like
had
just
me.
piling it all
Like,
up
here's
in
Johnny.
the last 40 minutes of the
Took
film.
shit from
It's
The Shining.
seamless, it's integrated well, and yeah, I super duper duper recommend you watch this movie. I think you'll get a great time out of it. And the ending is so satisfying. It's one of the most satisfying endings to any film I've ever seen. And the camera work in particular in one scene where someone is running through multiple houses, breaking through walls and windows. Dude, this movie caters to my brain absolutely perfectly. And just a small detail I would like to add is that during this movie, I noticed that Gladys, her lipstick and shit, it was all messed up and smeared. And in my head, I had this interpretation of her that she was not a human being. She was some sort of other being inside of a human body. And in her brain, she thinks to appear human and to appear likable, she has to wear makeup and she has to make herself look presentable, but she doesn't know how to do that exactly. She doesn't know how to get rid of the uncanniness of it. So the lipstick is like all fucked up, and her haircut, her bob, she got a fuck ass bob.
Oh my
she
God,
looks
bro.
weird, but in her
I
head,
didn't
this
even
is what a
notice that
human
shit.
being
Yeah,
should
Gladys
look
was-
like. This is how they
was a
should
hot
present
mess.
themselves. On the same brain length, and I will watch anything this dude releases. I think he's making the Resident Evil movie. I guess it's technically a reboot of them. I'm so excited. I could not tell you how excited I am. Amazing performances, amazing scares, amazing villain. I love Weapons to the bottom of my heart. I have to get this on 4K when it releases. I think Barbarian didn't get a physical release. Hopefully this does. So yeah, that concludes this video. I will probably make a whole entire...
Alright, yeah. Subscribe, like, you feel me? Go check them out if y'all want to. Barbarian trailer. Supposedly, I started watching it.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah,
This is 476 Barbary, right?
yeah, I'm renting this place.
No, I booked it a month ago.
Are you sure you have the right place?
Yeah. What am I supposed to do?
Why don't you come inside and we'll call these idiots. Why don't you just crash here?
Oh, no.
Oh yeah, didn't I say I was gonna watch this?
I don't know if you got a great look at this neighborhood, but I don't think you should be out there by yourself. It's dry and there's a lock on the door. By the way, I'm Keith.
Alright, yeah. That's why it stopped right there, because I said, yeah, we gonna watch that shit. I don't think we did. Oh, let me see. I gotta turn off the YouTube if I'm gonna do this. Oh, the food's almost here. The niggas always going too far. Bruh. 2022. I ain't never heard of this movie, bro. I ain't never watched this shit either. Alright. The food's almost here. I'll change. I'll change this. And then YouTube, we gotta go.